success and a rare encounter forged a rare bond.
I got a best friend. I got a mini-me.
On the road with Steve Hartman. Tomorrow on the CBS Evening News with Source everywhere you go.
Tonight on the late edition, we hear from Governor Mike Dunleavy on his tour of communities damaged by remnants of Typhoon Merbok. And we take a look at a new health clinic in Anchorage for people dealing with homelessness. Plus, as we make our way into fall, you'll learn of a developing plan to help the homeless with shelter before winter hits.
That's right. Fall arrives, bringing the same weather we've seen for more than half the summer. The forecast.
Good evening and welcome. As the western part of the state begins to recover from the remnant of Typhoon Merbok, the coast is left picking up the pieces.
A neighbor helping neighbor, friend helping friend, and schools were open.
Today, Governor Mike Dunleavy and two commissioners held a news conference to update Alaskans on their tour of communities damaged by remnants of a former typhoon. Mr. Dunleavy says right now, as cleanup is underway, thousands of pounds of food and water are being flown in. Necessities are being taken care of, but he says what his administration is focusing on is rebuilding roads and bridges before the winter freeze sets in. He says it's all hands on deck.
We're going to move as quickly as possible. We have people in constant contact with folks on the ground. Their needs are going to be met. It's really about getting everything up and running and ready and prepared for winter.
The governor plans to continue to report on updates as repairs are still being done and the clock to beat winter continues to tick. In an effort to help with the recovery response in western Alaska, a UAF drone team is stepping up to help. UAF says the team will be supporting the U.S. Coast Guard's emergency response effort. The Coast Guard can do the boots-on-the-ground assessments while the drones can be the eyes in the sky for 2D and 3D mapping. The project lead says the Department of Homeland Security paid for the team to train people in Unalakleet. The deputy director of the village of Unalakleet collected drone video of the coastlines, bridges, and infrastructure.
Having John fly all of this infrastructure all ready to have the data to put into the Coast Guard hands, like put the hard drive in our hands when we got off the plane, is it's a capacity that has never before been realized in the Bering Strait at all.
Now, let's get a check of the weather forecast on this first day of fall. For that, we turn to Jackie Purcell for the very latest. Jackie?
That's right. It officially moved from summer to fall today, really this evening, with the autumnal equinox, even though it's been fall for a while here in Alaska. Now, that autumnal equinox happened in the 5 p.m. hour for Anchorage. We even saw, as a result of some clearing, some snow at the tops of the Chugach Range. We're definitely seeing cloud cover across the metro area this evening. In our current temperature, and the 10 o'clock hour, 45 degrees with winds out of the north-northeast at 6 miles per hour. On our radar imagery, it shows an intense area of rainfall that is angled into Prince William Sound. Those communities are going to see rain that could total between tonight and through Friday night, 2 inches worth of rain. That precipitation, here are the numbers. Amounts, as I said, probably exceeding 2 inches around Valdez as well as Cordova, and more than an inch in the Lake Louise area, Golcana. Let's talk about the next 3 days. Back here in the Anchorage area, we're going for fall-like conditions, as we've seen over the last several weeks. But those high temperatures with the cloud cover, the showers, it'll probably stay into the upper 40s for our daytime highs. Another round of wetter weather expected for the region and city on Sunday.
All right. Thank you so much, Jackie. According to a new report from the American Association for Cancer Research, there are more cancer survivors in the U.S. than ever before due to advances in cancer research. Cancer death rates continue to fall, with the decline being driven by new treatments and improved screenings. Death rates have been falling over the past 2 decades, and in recent years, there have been a particularly sharp decline. As a result, there are now more than 18 million cancer survivors here in the U.S., up from 3 million in 1971. The FDA approved the first immune checkpoint inhibitor back in 2011. and has since approved 8 other immune checkpoint inhibitors for 18 types of cancer. That, according to the report, the agency has approved 7 other cancer therapeutics in the past year, including the first drug to treat uveal melanoma, the most common eye form of eye cancer in adults. It also expanded the use of 10 existing drugs to other cancers. Researchers say detecting the disease as early as possible is still a key factor in cutting cancer death rates. President Biden relaunched his Cancer Moonshot initiative this year, and last week he outlined new steps to expand on the program. And a new health clinic for people dealing with homelessness is now open here in Anchorage. Henning Inc. and Mountain View Health Services worked together to open the health clinic at the Aviator Hotel in downtown Anchorage. The clinic officially opened on September 15th and offers non-emergency service for injuries and illness, mental health care, and primary care for Anchorage's homeless population. According to a press release from the group, the clinic is intended to specifically address the health care needs of people experiencing homelessness. There is new information in the ongoing efforts to help homeless people here in Anchorage find shelter from the winter cold. Anchorage Assembly members have released a plan stating that 350 people will need emergency shelter this winter. There has been talk of using the Sullivan Arena and the Golden Lion Hotel as shelters, but in addition to these big spaces, the Assembly's plan is counting on smaller spaces helping out as well. One of the contenders for aiding in the plan is Beans Cafe, who purchased a building in Midtown. Director Lisa Souter says the space will be used to house single men.
We can accommodate up to 40 people with a full spectrum of services, which will include a full-time navigator dedicated to that site, 3 meals a day, access to coin-operated laundry, showers, bathrooms.
The Assembly is set to hold a special meeting Monday night to vote on the plan. Assembly members have also added a meeting this coming Sunday for the public to give feedback on the plan at the Assembly chambers in the Lusac Library at 2 p.m. It is San Diego that is bringing back a program that cleans the streets and help those down on their luck. The initiative pays homeless individuals to pick up trash in the downtown area. Jasmine Ramirez speaks with the organization leading the efforts and how Cash for Trash is a win-win for the community.
People experiencing homelessness picked up nearly 200 bags of trash on the program's first day back this past Monday.
It gives folks a reason to wake up, an opportunity to contribute to the cleanliness and overall environment around their surroundings.
Cash for Trash is helping those who are living on the streets while also making the streets a cleaner place. The Lucky Duck Foundation's program gained traction fast, even attracting national attention. Participants picked up more than 44 tons of trash during a 4-month pilot program. With so much success, they decided to bring it back. People are paid $2 for each trash bag they collect.
So many of them would say, you know, this might not sound like a lot of money, but it goes a long way. I can get an MTS pass, or I can buy some Band-Aids, or go, cover co-pays for prescription medications.
The concept is even boosting morale within the homeless community.
It gave folks a common enemy. That common enemy was the trash. And so they had that to sort of rally around, and you started to see some just improved attitudes and demeanors and behaviors.
We're going to do all of San Diego. We're going to do all of downtown. We're going to take over, clean it up. Yay!
The program is meeting twice a week in the mornings at 16th and Commercial Streets downtown. The Cash for Trash program will be happening every Monday and Thursday until at least the end of this year.
And after weeks of wondering who will be the next Anchorage Library Director, an answer has been given. Today, the mayor's office announced that Virginia McClure will be the new library director. McClure has worked in the Anchorage Public Library system before as the manager of the Mountain View branch. She has also served as a librarian and manager for multiple library branches in Lexington, Kentucky. In a quote from Mayor Bronson, he says, "I am thrilled that Virginia has decided to come back to work for the Anchorage Public Library. She has the experience, compassion, and commitment to lead our wonderful libraries into the future." According to the mayor's office, McClure's official start date will be October 17th of this year. And up next on the late edition, what is causing many young adults to give up their own space to sharing one with mom and dad? We'll find out. And a judge in the Mar-a-Lago FBI search case makes changes to the special master review due to an appeal. We'll take a look at that.
And we'll see sunrise tomorrow. Start off our day that will last 12 hours, 8 minutes at 7:46 a.m. We'll have a look at your forecast as we head into this fall season coming up in just a few minutes.
This newscast is brought to you in part by First National Bank Alaska. 100 years of helping Alaskans shape a brighter tomorrow. And Bailey's Furniture. Get Buddy's price and fall in love with your local hometown furniture store. Voted Best of Alaska 18 years in a row.
Imagine our future. How about courageous?
Tradition.
Grandchildren.
Fishing.
Bright. Progress.
Eager.
Blessed.
Thriving.
Our children.
Future generations.
Descendants.
Successful and bright.
Family. Culture.
More fish.
Loyalty.
Sustainability. Asperk. Or good.
Hey, Alaska, Buddy Bailey here. Can you remember the last time you got your money's worth of, well, anything? At Bailey's, you know that you can get the most out of your PFD thanks to our famous Buddy's price. Paired with our PFD special, you can even take 20% off that price on anything from mattresses to home office and 10% off of discounted items. You could even receive a free bucket cooler if you spend $3,500 or more. Make your dollars go the distance this PFD season with your local hometown furniture store.
One of the greatest things that I like about First National is the smaller town feel, that it is more of a relationship-based bank, dedicated and committed to the understanding of how your business works. Reaching 100 years is an amazing milestone. I hope to see my business grow and continue doing operations for a long, long time.
First National Bank Alaska, 100 years shaping tomorrow.
Watch Alaska's news source at 6. Brought to you in part by Anchorage Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Your hometown dealer since 1963.
My skin, but better. Everyone wants it.
This does it. True Match Nude Tinted Serum. 1% hyaluronic acid in a foundation.
Feels like second skin. Naturally radiant.
True Match Tinted Serum from L'Oreal Paris.
We're worth it.
You're watching Alaska's weather source.
Well, officially, we have reached that fall season here in Alaska, as well as many other parts of the world. Of course, it came at 5:03 this evening, and we've actually been seeing these fall-like conditions for a couple of weeks. Now, Anchorage and Alaska always seems to be ahead of the curve as far as fall. We get it a little bit earlier than the rest of the lower 48. And check out that beautiful fall rainbow with a little bit of sun highlighting some of those colors. This was at the Service High School area. Thank you to Carl Brown for sending that in and sharing with us that hillside rainbow. Let's check out our forecast as we head into our Friday. It's temperatures into the 40s this hour for much of the metro area, but some parts of the city could even see 30s as we go through the overnight hours. The range is anywhere from 36 to 41. So there is a bit of a fall chill developing. We also have some fall rain, heavy at times, angling into parts of Prince William Sound. And can you see how that rain is kind of sweeping through? That's also sweeping across the North Gulf Coast, hitting Panhandle locations this evening as well. And this heavy rainfall event for them is mostly this evening on through their entire Friday. Saturday may taper off to some shower activity, but they'll see some pretty good amounts of rain as well. Now, as far as this evening, Some snowfall reported out of the Utqiagvik area. Their current temperature is 32 degrees, but it's still rain, 45 in Nome. Clearing skies out of the Bethel area. They're down to 41. Fairbanks, 36 degrees. They'll definitely see some sub-freezing temperatures in parts of the interior as well as Arctic slope as we go through the overnight hours. Kodiak, cloudy with 52 degrees. There's a look at the rain currently pushing across Prince William Sound. That'll continue to anchor, and that's where the heaviest precipitation is expected to stay. We'll be watching this storm system, but we'll also be seeing another one kind of drop down and form out of the complex area of upper level low pressure that we also see dominating the state. So we'll see this storm system swing on through the Panhandle. As I said, they don't get much of a break even on Saturday. Then on the other side of the state, through the Alaska Peninsula and also the Aleutians, you'll see that circulation of low pressure continue to shove east. That brings in some rainfall for parts of South Central. Now for the Anchorage area, we're kind of on the edge. We'll get some showers, but a more heavy, widespread rain event, I would say, occurs for us on Sunday. Here's a look at the forecast for our Friday. We're going for rain showers all along West Coast locations, stretching out through the Aleutians as that area of low pressure, really several areas of low pressure, impact that part of the state. The interior, a little bit of a break, cool, but some sunshine and a high of 49 into Fairbanks. They'll go to the mid-30s along the Arctic slope and stay rainy with 50 degrees in much of southeast Alaska. And they'll be also impacted by inches worth of rain coming their way as they move Friday through Friday as well as Saturday. So here's a look at the forecast across the Kenai Peninsula. Winds, not too much. They'll be up to 20 miles per hour out of Kodiak with a high of 56, but otherwise calm or 10-mile-per-hour winds, variable across the Kenai Peninsula into Prince William Sound. This is where we're going to see some extensive wet weather moving on through. And for the Matanuska-Susitna Valley, continued showers, highs cool into the 40s with 49 for the Anchorage area. So that's our 7-day forecast. And that's what we'll be seeing, some chance of showers to more rain likely on Sunday. We'll have a look at those rainfall amounts as we get into toward the end of the newscast. Dave?
All right. Thank you so much, Jackie. It is an age-old debate. How long are parents financially responsible for their kids? Well, these days, it may be a lot longer because of the struggling economy. NBC News senior consumer investigative correspondent Vicki Nguyen joins us with help for parents during this tricky time.
With a pandemic and record inflation, adulting has taken on a whole new meaning for today's 20-somethings, putting parents on the front line. In these tough economic times, some are looking for ways to financially protect their adult children for longer, with everything from family cell phone plans to keeping young adults on health insurance plans until they're 26, to living at home for longer.
They still feel very responsible for the lives of their children and the livelihoods of their children.
According to a recent survey, nearly a third of young adults moved back home during the pandemic. 2/3 still remain with their parents, and more than half say they moved back out of necessity. The cost of living still daunting. Apartment rent prices rising 15% from last year, making the average cost above $2,000 a month. For 25-year-old Zoe Zarenda, between inflation and student loan debt, the only answer was to move back into her childhood bedroom in Connecticut.
Part of me felt like I wasn't on the right track, or I wasn't where I was thinking I'd be when I was younger.
She says she's grateful for her parents who realize it's a different world now from when they were in their 20s.
They're very understanding and knowing that I'm saving and I'm not just sitting here doing nothing. You know, I have a plan. I'm trying to move back out. It's just a matter of time and what I exactly want to move into.
The number one best reason to stay at home is to save and so that you can set yourself up for success. The downside of this is that you could become very, very used to staying at home and never leaving.
So what can parents do to help their young adults achieve financial independence? Set up a transition strategy for gradually withdrawing financial support. Be their accountability partner and introduce ways for your kids to budget their spending. If they're living at home, find ways for them to housework to cut your expenses. And consider having them pay some rent.
Everyone should have an open discussion about what the parameters are, what the rules of engagement are. And I think that communication is probably the most important.
And speaking of money, on September 20th, many Alaskans woke up with the expectation of seeing their PFD deposited into their account. But some Alaskans who filed for the dividend on paper are facing frustration because they haven't gotten their money quite yet. Alaskans who submitted paper applications will start seeing direct deposit or check payments starting. The Permanent Fund Division told us that people who applied on paper and asked for direct deposit aren't getting their money right away because they are trying to encourage people to apply online. Residents who filed online for direct deposit and still not have received their electronic payment are encouraged to check their eligibility status at MyPFD. And still to come on the late edition, one of the U.S. Capitol rioters and alleged Nazi sympathizers has been sentenced to prison. The length of his sentence is coming up.
Are gladiators doing battle on a gridiron. Don't miss a moment of the NFL action here on CBS 5. Sponsored in part by Kendall Auto Alaska and by Alaska's Tobacco Quit Line.
The Jennifer Hudson Show is here.
I left work to come.
You left work? They gonna see you. He's with me today. We're lighting up daytime, baby.
You're gonna bless people every single day.
We're giving back. Lifting each other up.
Something hits you in your heart.
We're doing it all.
The Jennifer Hudson Show is sponsored locally by Bailey's Furniture. Get Buddy's price and fall in love with your local hometown furniture store. Voted Best of Alaska 18 years in a row.
You could be dreaming about this, but let's talk about right now. Download the Alaska's Weather Source app so you have this team of meteorologists by your side, so you're prepared for whatever weather is coming our way.
Welcome to the place where stories are told,
yeah, man,
legends are celebrated, and dreams are made. Kick off your boots and stay a while, because you don't want to miss out.
Yeah!
We are Circle Network. Country plays here.
H&I has got iconic characters and edge-of-your-seat action that will take you out of this world.
Hard to believe a place this beautiful exists.
Catch the action on Channel 2.2.
An ex-Army reservist will spend time behind bars for his role in the U.S. Capitol riots. Today, a judge sentenced Timothy 21. Video showed Hale Cusinelli breaching the Capitol building and encouraging others to join him. He also tried to stop a police officer from detaining a rioter. Prosecutors called Hale Cusinelli a white supremacist and a Nazi sympathizer who wanted another civil war. He was convicted of 5 charges, including felony obstructing an official proceeding back in May. After his prison sentence, Hale Cusinelli will have to serve 3 years of supervised release and pay $2,000 in restitution. And Stephen Ayers, who testified before the House Select Committee about his role in the January 6th riot, was also sentenced today. Ayers will serve 2 years probation and perform 100 hours of community service. He pled guilty to 1 count of disorderly conduct back in June. The judge has cited Ayers' genuine remorse as well as his productive testimony before the House Select Committee as one of the reasons for the lenient sentence. During his testimony, Ayers testified he was, quote, riled up by former President Trump's speech and had not originally planned to go to the Capitol. And the special master in the Mar-a-Lago search case says he has hired a retired judge to assist him in his review of the documents seized from former President Donald Trump's home. This ruling from an appeals court forces the leading judge to limit what documents the special master can actually look at. CNN's Jessica Schneider has more on the story.
The Justice Department is once again digging into 100 classified documents that FBI agents seized from Mar-a-Lago.
I think they're going to move forward very, very quickly.
A 3-judge panel, including 2 Trump appointees, unanimously ruling that DOJ can resume reviewing the classified material as part of its criminal probe into alleged obstruction and unlawful retention of documents, saying the hold that lower court Judge Eileen Cannon put in place caused a real and significant harm on the United States and the public. DOJ says its investigators and FBI agents need to work hand in hand with officials assessing the national security risks of those documents remaining unsecured at Mar-a-Lago.
It's boxes and boxes of pictures, newspaper articles.
In an interview last night, the former president said he didn't know exactly what was in the boxes and that he had blanket authority to declassify anything.
If you're the president of the United States, you can declassify just by saying it's declassified, even by thinking about it.
But even Trump's allies on Capitol Hill questioning that logic.
Up here, we take it very seriously. Stored correctly.
There's a process for declassifying documents.
There is a process that one must go through.
The judges on the 11th Circuit also blasting Trump's unsubstantiated claims of declassification, writing, "The record contains no evidence that any of these records were declassified." And before the special master, plaintiff resisted providing any evidence that he had declassified any of these documents. The judges went on to say that even if Trump had declassified, he still wouldn't have had claim on the documents as personal records.
The U.S. government has every right to look at its own classified documents. Trump derived no right to do that just because he took them to Mar-a-Lago.
The ruling also prohibits Trump's legal team and the special master from reviewing any of the classified documents. It was an about-face from what Judge Eileen Cannon had allowed, and she was forced to amend her order. The special master will now move forward, reviewing only the 11,000 documents that aren't classified.
And today, Judge Raymond Dearie, who currently serves as special master, proposed that he receive $500 an hour for his work, which would be covered by Mr. Trump. Well, when you want your sport with spikes, sticks, and pucks, then you want sports with Jordan Rodenberger.
That's right, Dave. Seawolf Spikers in action tonight, while the skaters will hit the ice tomorrow. Plus, the Iron Dog lost a legend this week in the passing of Hall of Famer Mark Carr. Hear from those close to him on his impact and legacy on and off the sled. Stay with us.
Watch Alaska's News Source at 4, brought to you in part by Bailey's Furniture. Get Buddy's price and fall in love with your local hometown furniture store. Voted Best of Alaska 18 years in a row.
Nearly 4,000 miles away, 6 Supreme Court justices took away one of Alaska's most fundamental freedoms, our right to choose. And frankly, that's a game changer. I'm Mary Peltola, mom of 7, grandmother of 2, and a committed advocate for personal privacy rights. The federal government has no business taking away our freedoms. I'm running for Congress, and I approve this message because we should have the right to make choices that work for ourselves and our families.
Inflation at a 40-year high. Experts warning of another recession. And what's Washington doing? Pushing a bill that will raise costs for you. Focusing on issues that 83% of Americans say are not a top priority. Breaking Amazon Prime's guaranteed free 2-day delivery. Breaking free services like Google Maps. And exposing your phone to costly malware. Tell your senators families are hurting enough. Don't make it worse. Oppose S 2992, sponsored by CCIA.
Did you call me a racial slur or not?
I don't have to answer the question.
Bruh, isn't that why we're here though, Dr. Phil?
I slapped him. He choked me. There was a knife involved. What am I missing here? She was a marathon runner. She was a teacher.
And now,
I don't have an eating disorder. I can't eat.
You're being bullied in your own home.
an extreme intervention.
My colleagues and I were using crisis intervention procedures which we're specially trained in.
Dr. Phil. Weekdays at 2 on CBS 5.
When safe drivers save for not answering their phone while driving, they feel like a big deal.
Did you get the ice?
Even if they forgot the ice. Save up to 30% on auto insurance with USAA Safe Pilot. Get a quote today.
You're watching Alaska's Sports Source.
The Iron Dog is a grueling and historic race, and the legends that come from it are not only born through success, but for how they signified what it meant to be an Iron Dog competitor. Hall of Famer Mark Carr, who passed away earlier this week, exemplified both.
feel that Mark's impact on this state left us with all wanting to be more like him on the racetrack and off.
A legend on the sled, Iron Dog Hall of Famer Mark Carr died earlier this week at the age of 63 of natural causes following multiple strokes.
4-time champion. He's only been in the race 11 times. That has to be the best winning percentage I've heard of.
When he strapped on the helmet, Carr was a fierce competitor, winning the world's toughest snowmobile race 4 times, including an unprecedented three-peat with Scott Davis from 1997 to 99.
From my view, Mark was just a competitor. Total domination. Every time he got on the course, you were pretty much racing for second place. You know, he's a true champion. He's a legend.
Changing the historic race forever.
You know, that's part of Mark's legacy is that, you know, kind of push the envelope there on, you know, how people's approach to racing and what snowmobile they picked and how competitive that snowmobile was.
But with his helmet off, Carr was a father, a pilot, a competitive shooter, a commercial fisherman, and much more.
There was a sense of honor about him. He was courteous, ambitious, and compassionate about everything he did. You take the helmet off and get this pleasant person that you're around and put the helmet on, kind of a different guy. But he was a great father and a great husband.
His success and domination in the sport may never be seen again, but his legacy will live on.
I think his contribution to the sport of snowmobiling and the Iron Dog is top shelf, but he did leave a huge impact on the communities that we travel through, and I think that's almost impossible to ignore the impact that he's going to leave on some of those communities. They broke the mold with him, man. He just was, he exemplified greatness. That was Mark. He was a great person.
And following his racing days, Carr stayed involved with the Iron Dog as a fuel pilot and as an advisor for other teams, as it'd be nearly impossible to tell the story of the Iron Dog without mentioning the legend, Mark Carr. In other news, we had the top matchup in Division II volleyball tonight taking place in our own backyard as the 14th ranked nationally Seawolves welcomed in one of their biggest foes, Western Washington, a top 10 team in the country, and they knocked UAA out of the NCAA tournament last year, so big target on their back and a big target on the ball whenever Eve Stevens rises for the kill. She scored 5 of the Seawolves' first 6 points alone. They can rack them up, but preventing points is half the battle, and you're not going to hit over this wall formed by Lisa Johnnet and Isabel Evans, but you know Western isn't going to go down easy. They answer right back of the first set, and when you need a point, you go to the conference's all-time leader, the Palmer product, Stevens, putting this one home. She finished with 21 kills. Seawolves sweep the number 10 team in the country, handing them their first GNAC loss in 21 games and run up the win streak to 7. They'll host Simon Fraser on Saturday. And guess who else is hosting Simon Fraser this weekend? UAA hockey. And after 2 years removed from the ice, they're ready to get back out there.
Oh, we're pumped. We're pumped. We, feel it in the community too. Everyone's excited, and we are too. We want to put on a show this weekend and get a win.
7 p.m. at the Seawolf Sports Complex. 2 years, $3 million, and a dream later. UAA hockey is back. And the game is free to the public as I thank you for saving Seawolf hockey. We'll be there. We hope to see you there too.
All right. Thank you so much, Jordan. And now the last look at the forecast. Here's Jackie Purcell.
Free hockey. Wow. Let's talk about the fall weather we're seeing here in the South Central region. We're seeing rain, not only for parts of Prince William Sound, angling north, but along the North Gulf Coast and Panhandle locations are going to see the heaviest amounts of rain over the next 24 hours. Here's a look at the South Central totals that, as I mentioned, Prince William Sound could see 2+ inches for Valdez and close to an inch around Gulkana, and a lot of rain even for Panhandle locations. Could be more than 3 inches around the Juneau area, with 2 around Sitka, Petersburg, an inch around Haines, a little bit more toward Ketchikan. Now for the Anchorage area, Friday forecast looking like this. Chance of showers, definitely cloudy skies out there. Watch out for some wet patches on those roads if you're a morning commuter. Another round of showers into Saturday. We'll be watching this because we're kind of right on the edge. Will we get those showers? Will we just see cloudy skies? I'd say wet weather again by Sunday.
All right. Thank you so much, Jackie. And thank you for watching.
Alaska's news source at 10 is brought to you by Bailey's Furniture. Get Buddy's price and fall in love with your local hometown furniture store. Voted Best of Alaska 18 years in a row. And Bristol Bay Native Corporation. This year we honor the past and imagine our future.
When you really need TV, count on Dish's 99% signal reliability any time of year.
Should we do the cake?
Is it sugar-free? 99% signal reliability any time of year with Dish. Tuned into you.
At Alaska Tire Service, we can save you valuable time this fall. You can make an appointment that fits your schedule, and you'll be in and out with your new tires.
Alaska Tire Service, your family's been through.
Runaway inflation is crushing Alaskans. From filling up the truck to fueling the boat to feeding your family, we are all paying more and getting less. As your senator, I voted to stop trillions in wasteful spending and led the charge to expand Alaskan energy production in order to lower gas prices, build a stronger economy, and put more money back into your pocket.
Lisa Murkowski is for hard-working Alaskans, always.
I'm Lisa Murkowski, and I approve this message.